God was calling someone, but no one was listening. Until one night, a child heard him, and everything changed. There was a woman who could not have a child, and her story would change the course of a nation. There was a man named Elkanah. He had 2 wives, one named Hannah, and the other, Peninnah. Peninnah had children, but Hannah had none, and that absence became her pain. Year after year, the family would go up to worship, to offer sacrifices, to seek God, and every year, the same wound would open again. Peninnah would provoke her, mock her, remind her, again and again, that she had no child. Not once, not quietly, but repeatedly, until it broke her. Hannah wept, and she would not eat. And her husband said, "Hannah, why do you weep? Am I not better to thee than 10 sons?" But he did not understand, because this was not just about a child. This was about emptiness, about longing, about something she could not fix. And one day, something shifted. After they had eaten, Hannah rose, and she went to the house of the Lord, not to perform a ritual, not to follow tradition, but to pour out everything inside her. She stood there, in silence. Her lips moved, but no sound came out. And she prayed, not a formal prayer, not a polished prayer, but a broken one. She said, "O Lord of hosts, if thou wilt indeed look on my affliction, and remember me, and not forget thine handmaid, but wilt give unto thine handmaid a man-child, then I will give him back to you all the days of his life." This was not a small prayer. She was not asking just to receive. She was willing to give. And as she prayed, Eli the priest watched her. He saw her lips moving, but heard no voice, and he thought she was drunk. He said, "How long wilt thou be drunken? Put away thy wine from thee." But Hannah answered, "No, my lord, I am a woman of a sorrowful spirit. I have drunk neither wine nor strong drink, but have poured out my soul before the Lord." She was not weak. She was not careless. She was desperate, and Eli said, "Go in peace, and the God of Israel grant thee thy petition." And something changed, not around her, but within her. She went her way, and she did eat, and her face was no longer sad. Before anything happened, she believed, and in time, the Lord remembered her, and she conceived, and she bore a son, and she called his name Samuel, because I asked him of the Lord. The prayer had been answered, but now came the harder part, keeping her promise. Year passed. The child grew, and the time came to return to the house of the Lord, not just to worship, but to give. And Hannah brought the child, her son, the one she had waited for, the one she had prayed for. And she stood before Eli again and said, "My lord, I am the woman that stood by thee here, praying unto the Lord. For this child I prayed, and the Lord hath given me my petition. Therefore, I also give him to the Lord. As long as he lives, he shall belong to him." And just like that, she let him go. No holding back, no hesitation. She left him there and returned home. And Samuel remained, a child, in the house of God. And the boy grew, ministering before the Lord, even as a child. But something was wrong in that place. Eli's sons, who were also priests, did not know the Lord. They were corrupt. They took what did not belong to them. They abused their position. And the people began to hate the offering of the Lord. The house of God had become defiled. And yet, in the middle of that corruption, a child was growing, faithful, quiet, watching, learning, and the Lord was preparing something. One night, as Samuel lay down, the Lord called him, "Samuel," and he ran to Eli. "Here I am, for you called me." But Eli said, "I did not call you. Go back and lie down." And he did. Again, the voice came, "Samuel." And again, he ran, "Here I am, for you called me." And again, Eli said, "I did not call you. Go back." And this happened a third time. And then Eli understood. The Lord was calling the child, and he said, "Go. And if he calls again, say, 'Speak, Lord, for thy servant hears.'" And Samuel went and lay down again, and the Lord came and stood and called as before, "Samuel, Samuel." And Samuel answered, "Speak, for thy servant hears." And that night, God spoke, not to a king, not to a powerful leader, but to a child. And what he spoke was not light. It was judgment against Eli's house, for the corruption, for what had been allowed. And in that moment, everything began to shift. A new voice had been chosen. A new direction had begun. And Samuel grew, and the Lord was with him, and let none of his words fall to the ground. And all Israel knew that Samuel had been established as a prophet of the Lord. This was not just the story of a child. It was the beginning of change. Because God had not stopped speaking. He had only been waiting for someone to listen. And that voice would soon lead a nation. And that voice would soon change everything.